And now, uh, in the last section, we have discussed something regarding uh, general CRLB for signaling white Gaussian noise. One thing what I had to discuss to you is that in that previous video, I just that is in the first slide, I indicate as white Gaussian noise. It is not white, it is white Gaussian noise. That one mistake also I had made there. So just correct that one. Okay, that is yeah, in the last video lecture, that is general CRLB for signaling white Gaussian noise. It is not white, it is white Gaussian noise, WGN. Okay, so just note down that, just change that one. Okay, instead of white, it is white. A small mistake I had made that, so just correct that one. Okay, so let me start this session. Here I am discussing something regarding the extension of CRLB to a vector parameter. So we can extend the previous result that we have discussed in the previous session to the case where we wish to estimate a vector parameter theta, which is nothing but theta 1, theta 2, etc., theta p transpose. Okay, or we will assume that the estimator theta cap is unbiased. So we will calculate the vector parameter CRLB, will allow us to place a bound on the variance of each element. Okay, so in this session we can able to find or we can discuss something regarding the CRLB to a vector parameter, is the general expression of CRLB to a vector parameter, and based upon that we can go for one example also. Okay, DC level in white Gaussian noise related to CRLB, extension of CRLB to a vector parameter. So let me start this session. Okay, so what I will do is I will just assume that at the theta cap or theta, the vector theta is nothing but theta 1, theta 2, etc., theta p transpose. Okay, so that I can written as um, extension of CRLB to a vector parameter. Let theta cap, sorry, theta, it is not theta cap, theta, vector theta, theta 1, theta 2, etc., etc., up to theta p. Okay, if I am taking the transpose, it will be in the form of theta 1. It is not, now it is not the transpose. So okay, now it is in the transpose case. So if you are generally writing t, means it will should be in the form of a single row. Okay, so we assume that theta cap is unbiased. Okay, the theta cap what we have been what we use to estimate is an unbiased estimator, that is theta cap is should be an unbiased estimator. The vector parameter CRLB allow us to place a bound on the variance of each element. The vector parameter CRLB will allow us to place a bound on the variance of each element, on the variance of each element. So in that case I can write variance of theta I, variance of theta I cap is actually, it is variance of theta, one minute, it is variance of theta I. Okay, or theta I cap. In general I can write theta I cap or variance of theta I should be greater than or equal to inverse of Fisher information theory, Fisher information, that is I of theta. Okay, I of theta is nothing but the already we have discussed, that is I of theta is nothing but Fisher information. Inverse of the Fisher information is nothing but variance of theta I, that is nothing but the extension of CRLB to the vector parameter. So the vector parameter CRLB allow us to place a bound on the variance of each element, such that variance of theta I can write as variance of theta I or variance of theta I cap should be greater than or equal to I of theta I inverse. So this I of theta is nothing but the Fisher information, where anything inside the what you called as matrix, I can, if I am removing the I, nothing will be there in that matrix, so I can write it as matrix of II. Okay, denote II denote the ith element. For example, if I have theta is nothing but two element A and for example A in sigma square, in that case I will have 2 cross 2, that is, in that case I can take the matrix as in the form of 2 cross 2, that is 4 element matrix. Okay, 2 row and 2 column. Okay, if II is nothing but, or if theta cap, or sorry, if the vector theta is nothing but A, matrix A, or matrix say theta 1 to up to theta p, or theta 1 theta 2 theta 3, I should take the II is in the form of 3 cross 3, so it will be 9 element. If it is theta 1 theta 2, I can take it as in the form of 2 cross 2 matrix, so you will have 4 element in that case. Okay, we can see that in the coming examples also. So I can write in the variance of theta I, or the variance of theta I cap should be greater than or equal to I of theta inverse, that is the matrix II. Okay, so where II denotes the ith element of the matrix, and I of theta, inside the matrix I have written as I of theta, vector theta, which is nothing but our Fisher information matrix. Okay, so where I matrix II is the denotes the ith element of the matrix, and I of theta is the peak to peak Fisher information matrix defined by I of theta ij. Already you has discussed that Fisher information matrix in the previous video lecture, so let me write that also here. That is I of theta ij, I of theta ij should be equal to minus expectation of dou square by dou theta I theta j ln of p of x of theta, vector x of theta. Okay, so here ij should be equal to 1, 2, 3, etc up to p. Okay, so while evaluating the equation number 2, the true value of theta, vector theta should be used. Okay, the true value of vector theta should be used while evaluating the equation 2. That you should keep in mind. So I will write theta ij is nothing but the ith m cross n, like that. Okay, m rows and n columns, just like theta I indicate the theta I, and dou by dou square by dou theta I into dou theta j ln of p of x of theta. Okay, that is nothing but our Fisher information, peak to peak Fisher information matrix, where ij is nothing but 1, 2, etc up to p. And in evaluating the, as I told you, in evaluating the equation 2, we should consider the theta, vector theta, as the true value. True value of the vector theta is being utilized. Okay, in evaluating equation 2, the true value of vector theta is used. So this is nothing but the something what I had to discuss with the extension of CRLB to the vector parameter. So what we will do is we should able to calculate the we should, first of all, we should know how much parameter it should be, how much is the non-parameter, how much is the unknown parameter. Based upon that, we should determine the vector theta. If the vector theta contains 2 parameter, then the matrix that is I of theta ij will be in the form of a matrix that should be is nothing but it will be a 2 cross 2 matrix, so it will be a 4 element matrix. So after calculating the 4 element matrix, we had to go for all the elements inside that matrix, and afterward finally we have to calculate the equation for variance of theta I cap, or variance of theta I, which is the I of theta II inverse. Okay, so the final thing is we have to calculate the variance of theta I. So before calculating the variance of theta I, all the procedure we had to adopt it. How much is the matrix, how much parameter we have to calculate based upon what is the vector theta. Okay, what is the true value of vector theta, whether it is 2 or 3 or 4, something like that, and based upon that we have to generate a matrix that indicate the parameter or unknown parameter that has to be identified. That is nothing but our true value of theta, and based upon that we have to estimate our unbiased parameter. We have to find the unbiased estimator. Okay, so we can see one example related to this extension of CRL to a vector parameter, DC level in white Gaussian noise. Example, that is DC level in white Gaussian noise. Okay, so I will write the observation. Let the observation be x of n is nothing but a plus w of n, where w of n is a white Gaussian noise, where n equal to 0, 1, etc., etc., n minus 1. W of n is a white Gaussian noise with the variance sigma square. A and sigma square are unknown, and that has to be estimated. A and sigma square are unknown, and it has to be estimated. You should keep in mind that in the previous case and all those things, there is the variance, we are sometimes variance will be non-condition. Here in this case, the constant term a as well as the variance a square, amplitude a as well as the variance sigma square are unknown. If such two cases arises, then you have to go for the procedure for extension of CRW to the vector parameters. So carefully you have to identify the questions. So if you are not able to identify the question, then because several method is there, CRW method is there, so which method we had to adopt it for the particular observation, that we had to keep in mind. So before writing into any answer in the examination point of view, you should thoroughly read the question once or twice. Okay, because in the extension of CRW to the vector parameter, there should be more than one or more than two, or two or more than two two or more than two unknown parameter that has to be estimated. In this case, we are having a and sigma square are unknown, and that has to be estimated. So under this condition, we will be going for the extension of vector parameter to the extension of CRLB to the vector parameter procedure. Okay. So as I told you here, the true value of theta vector theta, it is not theta cap, the true value of vector theta is nothing but a n sigma square. That is, I can take p equal to 2, that is it is nothing but p equal to 2 in the sense means it is 2 cross 2 matrix, that is 4 element matrix, a square matrix. The vector theta is nothing but a n sigma square. I can take p equal to 2, that is 2 cross 2 Fisher information matrix we have to create. That is, I of theta should be in the form of a 2 cross 2 matrix. So I of theta already you know, it is nothing but minus expectation of dou square ln of p of x of theta divided by dou theta I into dou theta j. That is nothing but your I of theta. That is a Fisher information theory. Here you should keep in mind that you are having the second parameter is nothing, it is not sigma, it is sigma square. So wherever you will take dou by dou a square, keep in mind dou by dou a square, dou square by dou a square, the second derivative, then dou by dou sigma square, and dou square by dou sigma square, because here the parameter is nothing but second parameter is nothing but sigma square, it is not sigma. So keep in mind while you are taking the second derivative, don't confuse with that one, because it is not sigma, it is sigma square. So if you are taking the second derivative, it will be just like dou square by dou sigma square, sigma square, like that it will come. Okay, so just keep in mind that term, the second, because here it is not sigma, it is only sigma square. Okay, variance sigma square. I think this is clear for you. So we have to calculate the Fisher information matrix. We have to generate the Fisher information matrix. First of all, we have to generate the Fisher information matrix, that is I of theta. Here I of theta is in the form of 2 cross 2, because P is nothing but 2 cross 2 Fisher information matrix. That means you will have 4 element in that Fisher information matrix. Okay. In the previous case, we had discussed only 1 element matrix. Here it will be 4 element matrix. Okay. So you can write the Fisher information matrix I of theta in general as minus expectation of dou square by dou a square ln of p of x theta. Then the next element, that is minus dou square by dou a dou sigma square ln of p of x of theta. Then dou square by dou sigma square dou a ln of p of x of theta. then dou square by dou sigma square square ln of p of x of theta. Square by dou a. So this is nothing but a Fisher information matrix. So you keep in mind this thing. So if they are asked, if the two unknown parameter is there, then you just go for the extension of CR relative to the vector parameter. Okay, so this Fisher information matrix also you just study thoroughly, because based upon this only we are calculating all the parameter, and ultimately I of theta you will get. From that you will able to find that I of theta inverse, and based upon that we can able to calculate the variance of theta. Okay, so we can see that one. So we note that the matrix is symmetric since the order of the partial derivative may be interchanged. Matrix is symmetric since the order of partial derivative may be interchanged. So first of all, I can take p of x of theta. As you know, the equation for the p of x of theta is nothing but capital pi n I equal to 0 n equal to 0 to n minus 1 by root of 2 pi sigma square e raised exponential of minus 1 by 2 sigma square x of n minus a the whole square. 1 by 2 sigma square x of n minus a the whole square. Okay, so now what we will do, we will take the natural logarithm of this one, that I can take it as ln of p of x of theta is nothing but minus n into ln of root of 2 pi sigma square minus 1 by 2 sigma square x of n, sigma n is equal to 0 to n minus 1 x of n minus a the whole square. Okay, just I have taken the directly this one, x of n minus a the whole square. Again I can write this as, rearrange this as minus n by 2 ln of 2 pi minus n by 2 ln of sigma square minus sigma n equal to 0 to n minus 1 x of n minus a the whole square. Minus a the whole square. Okay, now you take the first derivative of this one, because all the parameter we have to calculate in the Fisher information. In the Fisher information, the first element is nothing but minus expectation of dou square by dou a square ln of p of x of theta. Next term is nothing but first row in the first column first element. Okay, next is in the second column first element, that is minus expectation of dou square by dou a dou sigma square dou a square dou sigma square. I think it is it is dou a dou sigma square ln of p of x of theta. Next is first column second row minus expectation of dou square by dou sigma square dou a ln of p of x of theta, and the second row second column it will be minus expectation of dou square by dou sigma square ln of p of x of theta. Okay, all this parameter we have to calculate it. So first of all we have to take the first derivative, take the second derivative, then take the expectation of that one. Okay, we will see that one. So you just take the derivative of this equation. So it is nothing but dou by dou a of ln of p of x of theta. That means you first differentiate with respect to a. Dou by dou a of ln of p of x of theta will be, first term will be 0, second term will be 0 because no a term is there, and finally you will have minus 1 by 2 sigma square, sigma n equal to 0 to n minus 1, 2 into x of n minus a into minus 1, because derivative of minus a is nothing but minus 1. Next is it will be minus and minus will be positive, 2 and 2 can cancel, it will be 1 by sigma square, sigma n equal to 0 to n minus 1 x of n minus a. 1 by sigma square, sigma n equal to 0 to n minus 1 x of n minus a. So now the first element we required, that is the dou square by dou a square. Just to take the second derivative of this one, dou square by dou a square, it will be 1 by sigma square ln of p of x of theta 1 by sigma square sigma n equal to 0 to n minus 1 minus 1 0 to n minus 1 minus 1 because derivative of minus a is nothing but minus 1. So ultimately changes to if I take in minus outside the sigma, it will be minus 1 by sigma square sigma n equal to 0 to n minus 1 of 1. So it will be minus 1 sigma 1 minus 1 by sigma square into n. So minus n by sigma square dou square by dou a square ln of p of x of theta will now changes to minus n by sigma square. Okay, now what we have to do? Now we have to take the dou by dou square. It's not dou by dou square with respect to sigma. We have to differentiate it. It is dou square in the sense that if it is if the second term is sigma, only sigma, then it will be dou by dou sigma. Here we are having second term is sigma square, so we will take dou by dou sigma square. Dou by dou sigma square ln of p of x of theta. Don't confuse with them. This is not the second derivative. This is only the first derivative with respect to sigma only. Okay, that is minus n by 2 1 by sigma square plus 1 by 2 sigma raised to 4 sigma n equal to 0 to n minus 1 x of n minus a the whole square. Okay, I think it's clear for you. That means we are taking the expectation of that is ln of p of x of theta with respect to sigma square. Ln of p of x of theta already you know it is nothing but minus n by 2 ln of 2 pi minus n by 2 ln of sigma square minus 1 by 2 sigma square into sigma n equal to 0 to n minus 1 x of n minus a the whole square. Okay, so the first term will be 0, the second term will be minus n by 2 into 1 by sigma square. If you are taking the differentiation with respect to sigma square, that is ln of sigma square, ln of sigma square will be equal to 1 by sigma square, the same term I have written here, minus 1 by 2 into derivative of 1 by sigma square, it will be sigma raised to 4. Okay, so it will be plus 1 by 2 sigma raised to 4, the other term, that is sigma n equal to 0 to n minus 1 x of n minus a the whole square. Okay, I think this is clear for you. So now what we require, dou by dou square is already there. Now I had to differentiate with respect to this a, that is dou square by dou a dou sigma square. Dou square by dou a dou sigma square ln of p of x. So just differentiate with respect to a, this one. That changes to first term will be 0. The second term will be 1 by 2 sigma raised to 4 sigma n equal to 0 to n minus 1 2 into x of n minus a into minus 1 into minus 1. Okay, so I just differentiate this with respect to a, dou square by dou a dou sigma square ln of p of x of theta. So what happens, 2 and 2 get cancelled, minus sign, minus I am taking out from outside the sigma, so it will be minus 1 by sigma raised to 4 sigma n is equal to 0 to n minus 1 x of n minus a, dou square by dou a dou sigma square ln of p of x of theta equal to minus 1 by sigma raised to 4 sigma n equal to 0 to n minus 1 x of n minus a. You see, you keep in mind, I had not taken the expectation now. I just taken the derivative. I am just doing the differentiation only. First derivation as well as differentiation as well as second differentiation. Afterwards, we can take the expectation of all these things. Okay. Now what I have to do? I have to calculate for dou square by dou. Anyway, first term I got dou square by dou a square I got. Next term is dou square by dou a dou sigma square. That is the second row, first element. Then first row, second element also same thing, dou square by dou sigma square dou a. Now the third element is nothing but dou square by dou sigma square square. Okay, so for that purpose I had to first of all take this one, derivative of that one, square sigma dou square by dou sigma square square. Okay, ln of p of x of theta is nothing but n by 2 into 1 by sigma raised to 4 plus 1 by 2 minus 2 sigma square cube to sigma n equal to 0 to n minus 1 x of n minus a the whole square. Okay, I am just taking the differentiation of with respect to sigma square. Okay, already you know dou by dou square of ln of dou by dou square of dou sigma square of ln of p of x of theta, that is nothing but minus n by 2 into 1 by sigma square plus 1 by 2 sigma raised to 4 sigma n equal to 0 to n minus 1 x of n minus a the whole square. Okay, so what you have to do, you have to take the differentiation with respect to sigma square. So what it will be minus n by 2 1 by sigma raised to 4 one mistake what I had done is no correct only n by 2 into 1 by sigma raised to 4 plus 1 by 2 into minus 2 divided by, just verify that one. Okay, minus 2 divided by sigma square into 4 minus 1, that is 3 is correct only. This sigma n equal to 0 to n minus 1 x of n minus a the whole square. Okay, just differentiate. Already we have taken in the previous slide, we have taken dou by dou sigma sorry, dou by dou sigma square ln of p of x of theta, that you know that is nothing but minus n by 2 into 1 by sigma square plus 1 by 2 sigma raised to 4 sigma n equal to 0 to n minus 1 x of n minus a the whole square. Now you just differentiate, take the second derivative for that one. Okay, you will get this equation. So this changes to n by 2 sigma raised to 4 minus 2 and 2 get cancelled, 1 by sigma raised to 6 sigma n equal to 0 to n minus 1 x of n minus a the whole square. Okay, dou square by 2 sigma raised square ln of p of x of 0. I cannot write it is sigma raised to 4. Okay, because we are taking the second derivative, that is dou square of square n by 2 sigma raised to 4 1 minus 1 by sigma 6 n minus 1 to x of n minus a the whole square. It is, I think this is clear for you now. And the previous slide we have indicated dou square by dou a dou sigma square. It's not. ln of p of x of theta is nothing but 1 minus 1 by sigma raised to 4 sigma n equal to 0 to n minus 1 x of n minus a. In the previous slide we indicated we have dou square by dou a dou sigma square, sorry, dou square by dou a dou sigma square ln of p of x of theta is nothing but minus 1 by sigma raised to 4 sigma n equal to 0 to n minus 1. Just verify that one. We have already calculated that one in the previous slide, x of n minus a. So what happens, I will just give the sigma to both the case condition. Okay, so I can write minus 1 by sigma raised to 4 sigma n equal to 0 to n minus 1 x of n minus sigma n equal to 0 to n minus 1 of a, it will be n into a. Okay, minus 1 by sigma raised to 4 sigma n equal to 0 to n minus 1 x of n minus n into a. Okay, what is x of n? X of n into n into a. Now what I have to do, I have to take the expectation of this one. Expectation dou square by dou a sigma square ln of p of x of theta is nothing but expectation of minus 1 by sigma raised to 4 sigma n equal to 0 to n minus 1 x of n minus n into a. What is expectation of x of n? In the observation already we are given in the last previous example also we have done the same thing only. In the observation we are given x of n is nothing but a plus w of n. It's not. So w of n is nothing but 0. Expectation of, that is x of n is nothing but a plus w of n. or x in the observation we are given x of n is nothing but a plus w of n. So expectation of x of n is nothing but expectation of a plus expectation of w of n. Expectation of a is nothing but n into a, but expectation of w of n is nothing but 0. That means expectation of white portion noise is always we are taken as 0. So expectation of x of n is nothing but n into a only. So what we will have, if you are taking the expectation inside the bracket, it will be minus 1 by sigma raised to 4 and na minus na. So that term will be ultimately it will be becomes equal to 0. Minus 1 by sigma raised to 4 sigma n equal to 0 to n minus 1 na expectation of x na x n minus na. Expectation of xn is nothing but expectation of a plus expectation of w of n. Expectation of w of n is 0. Expectation of a is nothing but n into a. So n into a minus n into a, that is nothing but minus 1 by sigma raised to 4 na minus na. Sigma n equal to 0 to n minus 1 na, sorry, a minus na. So ultimately directly can I, that is sigma minus 1 by sigma raised to 4 na minus na, that is nothing but 0. Okay, that term will becomes equal to 0. I think it is clear for you people. Now we have to take the expectation of dou square by dou sigma square square. Okay, dou square by dou sigma square square ln of p of x of theta. So already we have that one, that equation, that is dou square by dou sigma square square ln of p of x of theta is nothing but n by 2 sigma raised to 4 minus 1 by sigma raised to 6, sigma n equal to 0 to n minus 1 x of n minus a the whole square. Okay, so we have to take the expectation of this one, dou square by dou sigma square ln of p of x of theta will be nothing but expectation of n by 2 sigma raised to 4 minus 1 by sigma raised to 6, sigma n is equal to 0 to n minus 1 x of n minus a the whole square. Expectation of n by 2 sigma raised to 4 is nothing but n by 2 sigma raised to 4 minus 1 by sigma raised to 6 into sigma n equal to 0 to n minus 1 expectation of this term. Okay, x of n minus a, x of n minus a the whole square is it is nothing but a variance. Here the variance is nothing but sigma square. So expectation of x of n minus a the whole square is nothing but variance, that is nothing but sigma square. So first term is nothing but expectation of n of 2 into sigma raised to 4 minus 1 by sigma raised to 6 into sigma n equal to 0 to n minus 1 expectation of x of n minus a the square. So that is nothing but variance square. Variance, that is here variance is nothing but sigma square. N by 2 sigma raised to 4 minus 1 by sigma raised to 6 into sigma n equal to 0 to n minus 1 sigma square, that is the variance. So sigma n equal to 0 to n minus 1 sigma square is nothing but n into sigma square. I can write that one like that. N by 2 sigma raised to 4 minus 1 by sigma raised to 6 n into sigma square. So if you just substitute in this one, if I take just evaluate this one, you will get n minus n by 2 sigma raised to 4, n by 2 sigma raised to 4. Okay, so that is okay. Now we can write the Fisher information matrix, that is I of theta is nothing but n by sigma raised to sigma square 0 0 n by 2 sigma raised to 4. Because it why it is not minus, because it is nothing but minus expectation of this one. So minus expectation becomes minus and minus, it will be plus only. Okay, so n by sigma square, why I have taken the n by sigma, because I have missed one term there, that is dou square by dou a square ln of p of x of theta is nothing but minus n by sigma. So even if you are taking the expectation of dou square by dou a square ln of p of x of theta is nothing but expectation of minus n by sigma square, which is nothing but minus n by sigma square itself. Okay, so one term I have missed here, that is nothing but forgot to write this one, that is expectation of dou square by dou a square ln of p of x of theta. You just add that one. Anyway, the same result only. Expectation of dou square by dou a. Anyway, we are calculate the dou square by dou a square ln of p of x of theta. That is nothing but minus n by sigma square. If I take in the expectation, that one we'll get the same thing, that is minus n by sigma square. So in case of Fisher information, it is nothing but minus of expectation of dou square by dou a square ln of p of x of theta, which is nothing but minus of minus n by 2, which is nothing but plus, so minus of minus n by sigma square, which is nothing but plus n by sigma square. So I think it is clear for you people for how to calculate the Fisher information matrix. So this is the final Fisher information matrix that already we have discussed. Okay, that we have obtained. Now we have to calculate the I of theta inverse. I of theta inverse is nothing but adjoint of A divided by adjoint of I of theta divided by, anyway you know how to calculate the A inverse, which is nothing but adjoint of A divided by determinant of A. First of all, we have to calculate the determinant of A, that is I of theta is nothing but determinant of, or you know, n by just cross multiply that one, n by sigma square, n by 2 sigma raised to 4 minus 0. It will be n square by 2 sigma raised to 6. Okay, that is determinant of A. Now we have to take the adjoint. Adjoint, I think you know how to take the adjoint, changing the sign and all those things. That is, for that purpose we have to calculate the cofactor of I of theta, which is nothing but it will be plus n by 2, sorry, change that one, that is plus n by 2 sigma raised to 4 minus 0, 0, no need to take the minus, 0 is because I just want to indicate how we are taking the cofactor. Okay, don't change that is the second row first column, second column first row, as well as the first column second row. The sign their sign only changes. We should not interchange that one, the elements, but the sign only changes. But the first row first column as well as the second row second column will be interchanged along with the sign. Okay, okay, now it is clear. Now you take the cofactor for this one. It will be n by 2 sigma raised to 4 into n by sigma square minus 0. So that will be cofactor is nothing but A inverse is adjoint of A divided by determinant of theta, which is nothing but you just divide all these things with n square by 2 sigma square raised to 6. 4 minus 0 n by 2 n by sigma square into n square by 2 sigma square. N square by 2 sigma square, 2 sigma raised to 6, sorry. So we will get n by 2 sigma raised to 4 into 2 n square 2 sigma raised to 6 by n square, 0. Anyway, no need to write that one, it is anyway 0. I think it's clear for you how you are calculating that one. Okay, so finally you will get the answer as sigma square by n 0 2 sigma square by sigma raised to 4 by n. Okay, so the variance of A cap will be sigma square by n, the first row first column, first row first column, and the variance of A cap is nothing but sigma square by n, and the variance of sigma square is nothing but the second row second column, which is number 2 sigma raised to 4 divided by n. So I of theta inverse is nothing but sigma square by n 0 2 sigma raised to 4 by n. So in general we can write therefore our variance of A cap is nothing but the first row first column, that is sigma square by n, and the variance of sigma square is nothing but the first row second column, 2 sigma raised to 4 by n. So this is a method how we are calculating the Fisher information matrix by using the extension of CRLB, by introducing the extension of CRLB to the vector parameter. Only thing you have to keep in mind that how much unknown parameter we have to calculate, that has to be identified from the question itself. Just not directly take any method to solve the unbiased estimator. to calculate the unbiased estimator, first of all you should keep in mind, you should think about that how much parameter we have to take, how much unknown parameter is there in the given observation. Based upon based upon that, you just take the different procedure, what all things we adopted. Okay, so if it is more than 2 or 2, you just go for this method, that is extension of CRLB to the vector parameter. I think this is clear for you. If any doubt, you just ask me, or just call me, or just give a message to me. Okay, thank you.